Today I'm going to be taking enamel paint off of this model. If you look closely, you can see that the LA is totally awesome. Got most of it, but left a lot of shit in the creases. What I do is I take a pin and I gently, oh, look at that. I don't know if you can see that. It's almost like a layer. I'm gonna use my gorilla hands to pull that out. It's like picking your nose. It's disgusting. But you have to be careful, because if you dig too hard, you're going to be scratching the model. You just have to just gently coax it. I might actually go back in with the brush. I think there's like a layer. Ooh, there we go. Hopefully it's picking it up. It's a pretty bad mold line on this model. Let's see. It kind of has this glossy look. It's interesting as I just dried this model. It still has this glossy, almost like it's wet, but it's really just this protective candy coating. That's what they look like. They look candy coated. I really don't like it. I know it's what they had to do back in the day, but it's kind of a mixed bag, because when you're buying old lead models, you want to buy the ones that are painted, because they're sealed from the elements and protected from lead rot. Unfortunately, it's a pain in the fucking ass to strip it. Oh, sorry, this is a curse-free channel. I'm just joking. Wish I brought tweezers. I don't think I have any. I'm looking around. Need my X-Acto knife. Be a little stronger. Don't try this at home, kids. You'll end up with a big cut on your hand like me. Oh my god, I almost got it. There we go. Shit. I think I'm gonna try going back on the brush to clean that off. When you're working with lead, you make sure you wash your hands, and any bits of lead you don't want to, like, shaving off, or like anything that you can accidentally get into your system. That's what fucks you. Accidentally ingesting lead through, like, touching your mouth or whatever, after having like shavings of lead or something on your table. It's really not good for you. It like builds up in your body over a long time. But we're not eating lead paint, you know, it's not that big of a deal. Don't know what model this is from, actually. It says, looks like almost like a 1, a D, or a P, a O, and then an 8, and then a copyright sign, PP. Interesting. It's a great model. I really like it. I got it from PhoenixCon 2, my good friend David Aho, a hero in my eyes, hobby hero. He actually gave me it for free because I purchased Warhammer Fantasy role-playing game, the system, and we go back, so he just threw it in as a kind little gesture. He actually threw it in alongside the model I was stripping in my first video. Where'd it go? This guy. Hopefully you could see that. Cool little guy. Whenever I get models from David, I like to think that they belong together in my system or my setting. So these two will go adventuring together. They're just meant to. I'm going to try to keep their paint schemes as well intact. I like his red cloak. I want to do that justice. In fact, because I just washed this model, after I'm done stripping it, Well, I'm going to choose if I'm going to put it back in the drink to try to get the extra, the stuff that's in the really deep corners that I'm kind of opening up. Try to let it get in those cracks. Ooh, there we go. This is satisfying. It's like taking the gunk out of your shoe. You ever done that when you're in school? Sitting there looking at your sneakers and there's like detritus, like some kind of like gunk in your Skechers or whatever, little cracks and crevices. I always enjoyed picking at that. I don't know, there's some kind of like sick animal pleasure out of like, you know, removing gunk at this small of a level, especially when it's like hard to reach. I don't know if a pin or a needle is better for this. Got both. I almost feel like a needle. It's like a little firmer, where a pin will keep bending. It might be easier to scratch your model with a needle, so might want to swip and swap. You don't want to bring what is it, a mallet to an operation? No, that's not the saying. You want to bring a chainsaw? I don't know what the term is. The idea is you want to use a scalpel for an operation. You don't want to use some kind of huge blunt force object for some fine precision. I lost my needle. There it is. Yeah, you don't want to lose needles. That can be bad. That can be bad. Well, it's looking pretty good so far. Oh, what I was saying. After I'm done stripping this, I'm going to choose if I want to put it back in the drink, or if I'm not going to put it back in, which I probably will, but if I didn't, I would try to dry it the best I can and then put it in front of a fan just to try to evaporate or remove as much of that liquid as I can. Then I'm not going to put it in a drawer or anything. I'm going to let it sit out for a couple days, because somewhere not humid preferably. If you leave it somewhere humid, it's going to encourage that lead rot. I'm not 100% sure if this is a lead model. I'm going to assume, I think it is. I'm like 99% sure. But suffering with anxiety disorder makes any uncertainty, even if it's a 1% uncertainty, an unknown. And I have an intolerance of ambiguity. So 1% is not good enough for me. Or 99% is not, 1% is definitely not good enough. But 99% isn't either. I need to be 99.9 to have that confidence interval, extreme confidence interval. Otherwise, I'm really not sure. I just don't feel comfortable. To be honest, I don't know why I'm cleaning up the inside of the hood. I don't know if that's picking up any of that. I mean, my hands are in the way. So I think I'm going to block off his entire face, or at least paint it really dark, because the original model, they just painted it black, like as if it's a silhouette. You can't see any of it. I really like that, so I'm going to try to do the same, or I might even like smooth it over with Milliput or something, but it kind of looks like it's sticking out a little too far for that. We'll see. Probably just paint it like all one matte shade of like a shadow. I think that'd be cool. Honestly, I'll probably bring the toothbrush to it again after this. Sometimes too, what I found is when you're stripping old models, if there's like particularly like kind of difficult areas, like stubborn, even if it's not enamel, I found that letting it like fully dry out and then coming back later and trying again after letting it dry out, sometimes it gets like flaky and brittle, and then it starts to like almost like peel off. I find that to be beneficial. Ooh, might just scratched his cloak there. One of the best hobby advices I've heard is any mistake made with paint can be fixed with paint. I subscribe to that theory. Insight? I don't know the term. I believe it though. Make a mistake with paint, fix it with paint. In this case, I put a scratch on it. I could just glop paint on that area. I'm not picky. I wouldn't call my paint jobs tabletop standard, but I like to think it's about tabletop standard. I wanted to look serviceable at the table. I don't want to rush, but at the same time, I don't find it fun to take a very long time on models either. Some people, working on Golden Demons and the like, spend so long on one model, and I get it, it's for a competition, but I don't know. By the same token, I don't want to rush through models, especially when they're unique. I find it a way of connecting with the original sculptor. I think Trent said this in one of his videos, but it's like when you paint a model, you're kind of like, I think he said this regarding, it was a dragon that he recasted. He got it from somebody's studio. He was saying that it almost felt like you're reconnecting with the original sculptor behind that piece of art. Every sculpt is a piece of art. I find that really pretty. I like that a lot. It's a pretty saying. I try to respect them all. That's why when I do kit bashes and head swaps, I try not to do them for either models that I either know the person and I really respect them, or models that I can't easily get a replacement of, like a Reaper miniature or whatever. That's fine. Those are easy to get and cheap. But if it's like an old miniature, I usually try to oh yeah, don't poke a hole through your thumb. If you have that second of thinking, this is stupid, I should probably not be putting this much force and pointing towards my hand. When you're thinking that, just stop. Because several times I've thought this is probably stupid, and then 1 second later, it cut into my hand. Probably not a good way of doing things. Be proactive rather than reactive. But yeah, I think that it kind of lets you bond with the original sculptor and see what they were thinking as they sculpted. The more and more I sculpt, the more I think about that, where their headspace was at as they were sculpting. What was the original intention for this model? Was it for a particular system? Was it just to sell as much as possible? Was it a particular character, or was it kind of like a generic character that any player could imprint themselves on? Or is it a monster or something? I think I got pretty much all of it. I don't know how much of this you could see. I'm holding a lot of this up towards my face, so I've got bad eyes. Hopefully my insight is worth listening to, even if you can't see shit. I mean, shoot. Sorry, kids. All 14 of my subscribers. 15, maybe. This is for you. Need to change the scenery. Let's see. Looking pretty good. Yeah, give him another brushing. Most of the hard enamel spots are plucked away. Now it's just kind of like a couple little finicky areas, mold line. Yeah, cleric with kite shield and mace. Looking pretty good. Pretty good. I think that's everything. Short video. Thanks, everybody. Thank you. Bye.